Hello and welcome to Mile High Reefers. I'm Scott Anderson, and it's been quite a while since I've done a full update on my 210-gallon display. So a lot's happened over the last few months, which has kind of driven me to where I'm at today. So come check out everything that's changed and where we're at now.
In all honesty, the last 3, maybe 4 months have been a big struggle with me and my reef tank. It all started when my little buddy Pinky the yellow tang decided that Donatello, my purple tang, was no longer allowed to eat. Because of this, I had to decide which fish I was going to keep, the beautiful purple tang or the bully yellow tang. I ended up pulling Pinky the yellow tang out of the tank, but to get him out, I had to pull all but the 2 largest rocks and almost every coral out of the 210-gallon, which meant a new aquascape and majorly disrupting the tank. About this same time, my Montiporas developed this brown hair algae that was growing off of the flesh and taking over the Montiporas. I have no idea what it is, but it's been a struggle for about 3-4 months now. And then, of course, my chevron tang developed marine velvet and died in quarantine. I loved this fish, even though I had him for a very short period of time, and this made me question everything. And then, of course, I added 4 T5 LED bulbs to my system and fried my bird's nest corals. Now I realize this was 100% my fault. So the last few months have just been me managing the decline. The big thing I did to manage the decline was almost nothing. I focused on water quality and fixing the problems that I created. And as you can see, my tank is looking great. So let's focus on the bad first. And watch this whole video to the end because I really worked hard to get some really cool shots of this tank. But starting with the Montiporas, they are recovering. The algae or whatever that disease is, bacterial infection, is quickly declining. I have fragged off all the dead stuff and I feel like I'm winning this battle. And the fish are doing extremely well. Everybody's fat and healthy and for the most part peaceful. Once in a while the blue tang and purple tang will have a bit of a tail slap, but nobody ever really gets hurt. My smaller pair of clownfish are still hosting the clam, which is a really cool thing to watch. The clam does not seem to be bothered by it. He's always open, and his growth is incredible. This clam is probably about the size of my head now. By a country mile, my favorite part of this tank is the Euphilia garden combined with the LPS and softies around it. It is spectacular. The colors are amazing. The flow, the movement is exceptional. I love this section of my tank. With failures comes opportunities. In this spot was a large bird's nest colonies, and with the death of the bird's nest colony, I had a large space open up that I was able to move my toadstool leather to. In its previous position, it was up front being blasted by water flow, and as you can see the top of it, it was opening fully. Now I'm able to move it to a lower flow highlight section of the tank where this coral is going to thrive. The updating of the lighting hasn't been all bad. My green pineapple brain has started to show some incredible colorations. I'm getting a really awesome, almost lightning fluorescent looks around the outside of the polyps. My green bubble coral is loving the T5 light. In fact, it really only opens up fully these days when the T5s are on, and the coloration coming out of this thing is epic. With the exception of my spongeoed Montipora, the stonies are also coloring up really nicely because of the T5 lights. Everything is just a much more vibrant color. The reds are brighter and deeper, the greens are more fluorescent. They are looking healthier and happier because of the higher lighting. The softies in this tank cannot be stopped. The zinnia continue to grow and pulse, and they're one of my favorite softies. What else can move on its own? The Kenya tree continues to grow at an incredible pace and is now probably about 1.5 feet from base to tip. If there is any coral that I believe is plotting to take over the tank, it's my spaghetti leather or sinulera. It grows incredibly fast as I can take large frags off of it, and within a month or two, you can't even tell. My pallies continue to grow and thrive. In fact, the biggest problem I have with these corals is they're more likely to take over than they are to die. I also prefer the large polyped pallies to the smaller zoanthids, as they're less likely to get lost in the tank or crowded out by other corals. It's been an interesting 3 or 4 months. I felt like for the last 3 or 4 months that I was managing the decline. In reality, I was only managing the decline for a few select corals in my tank. It is so easy to get caught up in the things that are going wrong that you often miss what's going right. Looking at my tank today, I can honestly say a lot has gone really right. I have an absolutely beautiful 210 gallon reef. The easy answer would be to stick with the softies and the LPS. As you can see, I can grow softies and LPSs like nobody's business. But the real challenge is in the acros and the stonies. And I believe I finally have my tank positioned for this challenge. The lighting's there, the water flow's there, the water chemistry there is there, and I feel like my skill level is finally there. None of this is going to happen right away, as I'm not in a hurry. And that's the best piece of advice I can give to any reefer. Don't get in a hurry, give it time. So if you liked this episode of Mile High Reefers, like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.